Hello, this video is about Statistical Graphs Unit 5. We're going to talk about mean today. So our learning target is, I can calculate the mean of a set of data. There's some things that we need to learn before we learn how to calculate the mean. We need a little bit of vocabulary. So when we talk about the mean, median, mode, we're talking about measures of center. That means that when we're looking at a set of data, the measures of center measure the middle part of the numbers. All right, it represents the center of the data, or the middle numbers. Mean, median, mode are the measures of center. These become really important when you want to interpret or analyze the data. So today we're going to talk about mean. And mean is just a fancy way of saying the average of all the numbers in a data set. So how to find the mean? The mean is just the average. So all you have to do is add up all the numbers and then divide that sum by how many numbers you added together. So in other words, it's the sum divided by the count. So if you look at this set of numbers down here, okay, 7, 11, and 6, you'll see that there are three numbers. When you add them together, 6 plus 11 plus 7, you get 24. So there's their sum. That's the sum part of it. Then you divide by how many numbers you had to, that you divide, oh my goodness, that you added together. All right, so you have 1, 2, 3. So those are three numbers. So you take the 24 and you divide it by 3 and you get 8. So the mean is 8. We're going to go over a couple of problems. Ethan loves to play his video games. His dad kept track of the hours that Ethan spent playing his games for 4 days during the week. Here is the data. We have 5 hours, 7 hours, 4 hours, and 4 hours. What is the mean value of this data? So the first thing we have to do is we add them all up. 5 plus 7 plus 4 plus 4. And when I add those together in my calculator, I get 20. Now, that's step number 1. Step number 2, we have to divide this sum by the number of data points that we had. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we divide that by 4. Remember, fractions are just division problems. So in your calculator, you can put 20 divided by 4, and you're going to get an answer of 5. So what does that mean? So that means the mean is 5. That's just saying Ethan spent an average over 4 days of playing his video games 5 hours. That was his average number of hours he spent playing video games over 4 days. Here's another set of data. Maddie works at a pizza shop. She kept track of how many pizzas she sold for 5 days. The table shows her results. What is the mean of this data? Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to add up all the numbers. So we're going to add 8 plus 11 plus 15 plus 16 plus 20. And that all equals, when we add those into your calculator, you're going to get 70. So she spent she sold 70 pizzas over 5 days. So now we have to divide that 70 by how many days she kept her results for. So we divide that by 5 days. And in your calculator, you're going to put 70 divided by 5, and you should get the mean for the 5 days is 14. So what does that mean? That means that her average number of pizzas she sold during that 5-day period was 14. Not so bad now, is it? Let's try another one. The data set represents the scores of a science test right here. That was taken by some students. What is the mean of the scores? We have to add them all up. So we're going to add 34 plus 52 plus 73 plus 66 plus 18 plus 45 plus 13. When we add those all together, we use our calculator, I get 301. All right, so now I have to divide by the number of test scores that we kept track of. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I divide that by 7. 301. And I like to make it a fraction divided by 7. I'm going to put that in my calculator. And you should get, I hope you guys are doing this together, 43. So our average score for the test is 43. This is our mean. If you do this for every problem, you'll get the mean, you'll understand it. MJ kept track of a number of shells he found at the beach each day he was there. He wrote this data down. 13, 18, 17, 22, and 30. He wants to know, what is the average number of shells I found? So he has to add them together. 13 plus 18 plus 17 plus 22 plus 30. Now, put that in your calculator, and what do you get? Let's see, there's 10, 20 there. I'm going to put a 0, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I have to put a 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 100. He found 100 shells. So that's the first step I did. The second thing I have to do is I have to divide that 100 by the number of values I added together. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have to divide that by 5. And when I do that, what do I get? Put that in your calculator. 20. I get 20. He found an average of 20 shells. That's his mean. The mean equals 20. All right? Let's see, sometimes let's do this one. What is the mean of this data? Well, add it all together and then divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're going to add everything together and divide by 8. You can stop the video, do your math, and then see what you come up with. Okay, well, welcome back. If you got C, you got the right answer. The mean value of this data is C. So this is hard. I mean, sometimes, you get this list of numbers, and what do they mean? Sometimes you might see them on a line plot. So a line plot is just a way of displaying the data. Here we have the data points. We have 1, 2, 3 3s, 1 4, 2 6s, 1 7, and 1 8. So here's our data set over here. If I were to write it as a list, every time you see a line plot, it's just like a number line, numbered from 1 to whatever you want to make your line plot as. Then the data, here's our data over here. Wherever we see a 3, we're going to put a dot. So there's the first dot right there. There's a second dot and a third dot because we have 3 3s in our data set. We have 1 4, so we put that there. We have 2 6s, so we have to put 2 dots over the 6. And we have a 7 and an 8. Now that makes more sense. I mean, you can look at your data and you can go, oh, 3 was the most the most numbers that we had. But when you look at this and see, well, what's the mean? I can't really tell what the average is. So I have to write my data out in a data set like this and add it up all together. So we have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8. We add that all together. And what do we get? I'm going to let you stop the video and you tell me what you get. And then you have to divide it by how many data points you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. By 8. 3 plus 3 is 6. Plus 3 is 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 19, 25, 32, 40. I get 40. And if I divide that by 8, I get the mean is 5. Now we don't know what these 5 things are, so we can't really label it. But let's try that again. Let's try something, a new one. Let's look at this line plot. A line plot or dot plot shows the frequency of data. This line plot shows the number of pets that each student in a class has. The data set is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. The question was, how many students have at least 3 pets? So here we've plotted our data on a line plot. So for each one of these data points, we put an X. So we have how many students says they have no pets? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can tell I have a pet. Okay, so there's 10 X's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students that have 2 pets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 1 student that has 3 pets, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 students that have 4 pets. So there, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to answer these questions. How many students have at least 3 pets? Well, what does that mean? That means 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, at least 3. So we have to look at the 3 and the 4. That's all we know for sure. So we count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So at least 8 students have 3 pets, at least 3 pets. All right, let's look at question number 2. How many students are in the class? Well, you have to count up all the X's. Each one of these X represents what a student said when they were asked how many pets do you have in your household. So if we count up all these X's, we know that there's 24 students in the class because that's how many data points we have. You could also count the number of data points in our data set in the list to get 24. It'll be the same. So now we have to figure out what is the mean pets owned by students. Well, there's that word mean again. Okay, we have to add all these data points together. And then 0 plus 0, 0, 0, 10 zeros plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2's plus a 3 plus 7 4's. When we add those all up together, you put that in your calculator, but I get 41. And we know that there's 24 students in the class, so we divide that by 24, and we get 1.7 as our mean. And look at that. What does that mean? Well, we want to answer the question, what is the mean pets owned by students? So each student, on average, owns 1.7 pets. Well, that doesn't make any sense. You can't have a 0.7 of a pet. So you have to round this number up to 2. So if somebody were to ask you about this class, what is the mean number of pets or the average number of pets the students own, you would say 2. Remember, when we're talking about people or pets, you can't have a part of a pet or a person. You have to round up to the nearest whole number. All right, we're going to try one more. This line plot or dot plot shows the frequency of data for Earth Day. The Garden Club tracked the number of seeds planted by its 24 members. What is the mean of seeds planted? It tells us right here there's 24 members. So we should have 24 dots on this dot plot. But we're going to look at the table. All right, the table shows us that no members, or 5 members planted no seeds. 6 members planted 1 seed. 4 members planted 2. 2 members planted 3, and 7 members planted 4 seeds. So we could, putting everything in a table is a great idea because that organizes your data. It's better than having what we had back here, all this data here. When you look at this data, I don't know about you, but it's like, ooh, that's confusing. I need to organize it. So putting it in a table like this, and then putting it on a dot plot or line plot is a good way of organizing your data. So we start with 0 seeds planted here. We put 5 dots there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because 5 members planted no seeds. They were lazy. 1 seed was planted by 6 members. So we put 6 dots here. That represents how many people planted 1 seed. 4 people planted 2 seeds. So we put 4 dots here. Each one of these dots represents one of the members. and so on. And we see that the most people planted 4 seeds. More than any of them planted 4 seeds because this is taller. These dots are taller. But there's more dots in this one than any other column. So, but it's asking us, what is the mean of these seeds? We have to add these all up together. So we have to add 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So for each one of these data points, 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, 3 plus 3, and 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. All right? So when we add all these dots up together, our data set would look like this. 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my gosh, look at all those numbers you have to add together. All right, so once you add those together, you get 48. 48 seeds were planted by 24 people. So each person planted an average of 2 seeds. All right. Line plots, we'll get more into line plots a little bit later in our unit, but I just wanted to show you that you can find lots of information by looking at these line plots and dot plots. So your assignment today is in IXL. So sign into your IXL and go to your teacher suggestions, and you're going to find the mean of the data. It's going to give you a list of numbers that you'll have to add together and divide by however many numbers you added. So, the quick link is 76J. Don't spend all day practicing these skills. Only practice for about 10-15 minutes or until you've completed 10 problems. All right, my friends. It's time to log out. Take a break.